Three, two,
Now
one.
it's recording.
Well, okay.
Okay. Okay, welcome. We're live. First ever Spurs Journal episode. Off-season edition. This is gonna be fun. I'm Elias. This
I'm
is Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie, I guess, can introduce himself.
Super hyped to be here,
Yep.
reporting live from, you got boots on the ground right now in New York City. I
Yep.
got my Spurs hat. Hyped to be here.
Also in enemy territory in Houston.
Mhm.
But I only have a fraction of this playoff shrine I had up a few months ago, but I had to keep some up and that working now. But this is going to be fun. I'm going to call an audible for the first topic that we wanted to talk about here. And I just want to say, like, I had probably the most fun watching Spurs basketball in recent memory, of course. 2014 was like probably the most exciting season that I can cohesively remember. 2016 is up there too. But if you talk about from like an expectations before the season to where the season ended up, like I couldn't have asked for a better year. I had a blast.
Yeah, it was so much fun, and it really also, I think people forget how scary the last season ended with
Yeah.
the health issues that Wemby was having. Like, a lot of people, like, there were people saying that this could be career ending, and for
Yep.
many NBA stars, that kind of health issue has been a career ending or like thing that they never got over. And
Yeah.
so the fact that he was able to play, even just play, and then also play enough to receive some awards and be in the top two or three for MVP, be the first ever
Yeah.
unanimous defensive player of the year. Also have, our rookies shine, Castle take a leap. Like, it was like, I feel like my expectations were so hesitant going in,
Yeah.
and it was
Absolutely.
the craziest like leap I've ever seen in a season.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it felt really cool. I think every Spurs fan and probably like any NBA fan knew like the leap was going to happen in some relatively near future. Like the Spurs were
Mhm.
bound to be a better team than they've been for the past 5 seasons previous to
Mhm.
this year. And we even saw glimmers of it, the season before. Got excited there with the Fox trade and had
Mhm.
to wait a season, but it was pretty awesome for it to just be so ahead of schedule. And I think like I know I even kind of got caught up as the season went on, and as you realize this team is not only a competitor, like competitive for the title, but realistically, I mean, by the finals they were favored,
Yeah.
and that was a crazy swing of expectations. And I think it's been helpful like after the season to realize like, wow. I mean, a year ago I was like, if this team sneaks into the playoffs, if they're the sixth seed, I'm going to be super happy. If they're in a play-in spot, I get it, and I think that's a good step in the right direction. And I mean, 2 seed finals run would have won the finals if every game was 46 minutes long. We would have won in 5 games if every game was
Yeah.
46 minutes
Should we
long.
should we talk about the finals a little bit? Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I guess we
Not
haven't
worth
done this yet. Yeah,
it.
no, let's do it. Let's do it. Well, give me your thoughts. What's the overall
Um,
rundown?
well, I was watching from New York, so I had a
Mm-hmm.
very interesting experience. There were a few like safe places for Spurs fans here, and it
Good.
was it was
Yeah.
fun to go.
Did you
And
wear a Spurs jersey or shirt like on the train and
I
walking
did.
around?
I
Wow.
did. I wore running
Okay.
shoes too. So I was ready.
Okay.
I could make jokes about it and stuff, but it
Yeah.
got like, as the series got on, it got way more hostile.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, no, it's so funny cuz I think like the NBA fan culture is such a like tiny but really like quick reflection of how just like internet and culture work, and how quickly expectations flip,
Yeah.
and like heroes and enemies flip. And like, I was, all my friends were with me in New York when we beat OKC, or when it was game one in OKC and Wemby hit, the crazy, 3-point shot from like 40 feet away. And like the like time it took for everybody to like flip and be like, actually no, we hate the Spurs, we hate
Yeah.
Wemby.
Yeah.
To say they're like, they're these overrated, kids that like all these things that just like they weren't saying the week before. It was crazy to watch that happen in real
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah. I mean, it's already start. Like, I guess we saw the start of it. Like you're saying, that is the
mhm,
start of it. But I think everybody kind of knew you just get good enough, and like people are going to hate you, and it's true with anything you do.
yeah.
But I mean, like I heard some. I think if you're a Timberwolves fan, valid. Like I think there's a lot of Spurs excuses about like the constant fouling and tugging. Like you almost executed Nas Reed. I get it. I'd be pissed too. And I think like I don't know some of the criticism of like we don't need to get into all of it, but I think some of his antics, like I think there's some valid criticism.
Mm,
But that said, like I think there were a lot of takes of like, oh, the whole Monk bit is corny, or some of these
mhm,
quotes are overdone, like
yeah.
he's arrogant, and it's like you know, he's being himself. And as soon as he does it while he's beating your team, then it becomes arrogant and then it becomes forced and performative. I think that's super stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
and that I will extend that grace to everybody. Like, you
Mhm.
know, whatever. He's being himself. It's cool, and he's beating you while doing it. But that's not really a finals take. But I will say my finals take. Watching from Houston, I had a few more friendly fans, but I don't, not too many. I think like uh, it was game. I mean, when you look back on the series, the whole series is game four. Like the entire
Yeah.
series is game four. Because the first, after we lose game one, I remember Brunson goes down early game one, and I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, oh, I really hope he's not injured because we can beat this team even with him. We're
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Lose that game, it's like, okay, whatever, feel out game, no big deal.
Mhm.
Game two, weird things go on, crazy turnover, and it's like, oh, like we're really down, but the home team, you just win one on the road, like you
Mhm.
can force a 3-1. It's been done. We'll
Mhm.
be fine. Game three, expectations reset. We're good. Game four, first half of game four.
Oh my
First half ends, and I think we are winning the NBA Finals 100%.
Mhm.
That's it. It's over. They're not going to recover from comeback like that. And I mean, I don't even like. Let's not analyze it because it's just going to tear me
It's
apart
not
too
what
much.
it's
But
not.
I just remember pretty early in the third quarter, probably halfway through the third quarter, thinking, yeah. And then game five was the same thing. And at that point,
Yeah.
I had nothing left to give.
That's the
But
one thing I had like Knicks, like a friend of mine who's a huge Knicks fan, text me at halftime, like of game four. And he
yeah,
was like, screw you, your team doesn't deserve it. You guys are gonna get this, and it's all, messed up and unfair. And I remember in my head, I was like, I've watched this team all year, and I've seen how like these third quarters of like doom and despair can sometimes catch up to us. I was like, I'm not gonna respond and even take the bait yet because like I just
the ghost
needed
of
the
the third
game.
quarter. It's
It's
like I
it's
don't.
crazy.
We turned it around for a good chunk of the season, but
Yeah.
it was there. I mean, well, like Ghost of the third quarter was there, but realistically for the finals, like it was Ghost of like the final 5 minutes of the fourth. It just like I I don't know what it was. I think like it's a kind of a cop out to just say it's youth. I don't know.
I I think
I
I
think the
think
Knicks are really good, honestly. I give all the credit to the Knicks. I think the Knicks figured it out. I think their team was real after the first two games of the playoffs. They figured something out. They played like the team they should have been playing like. So I don't know.
mhm. I agree. I think it was that. I think you have, players who have all been there and lost it in the most heartbreaking ways before, who have a coach who has in the same way gone through all the ups and downs of a deep playoff run. You
Yeah.
have in a championship with the Spurs. And then you have I think I think what a lot of I forget where I was hearing this take, but I think it's a great point about how the difference in Wemby minutes when we got to the playoffs was something that not a lot of people talked about. And like the fourth and third quarter drop offs in our shooting percentage, like really were in every round of the playoffs. It didn't matter, like even on all the rounds we won leading up to the finals, it was the same
Yeah.
thing. And I think a big part of that is that when Wemby's in, so much of what our game is involves him getting into the paint on defense and then running all the way to the other side
Yeah.
on offense. And then every, everyone covering the sport yelling at him for not getting in the paint on offense.
Yeah.
And so it's like I think like our entire defense is reliant on him getting all the way back. And then our
Yep.
offense really opens up when he can get in there and then make space for like our slashers. And so, if it's the end of a game and Wemby's getting tired and we don't have the team built around him for any other use of him other than like, trying to ask him to keep running back and forth. I think
Yeah.
when he can't get to those spots and makes worse shots for our other guys and everybody's taking worse shots, including 1B. I think
Yeah.
that's a like probably a really real part of it, which is like you could say that's coaching, that's experience, that's conditioning. It's probably a combination of several of those, but
Yeah. And I think that is a perfect transition into our first actual plan topic,
mhm,
because your point about the defensive rotation around Victor and then also what he's expected to produce on offense when he's off the floor. I mean, this was something like this is true for this is just the way the NBA goes. Every team is looking for this, but
mhm,
shooting. Like
yeah,
we needed shooting. We weren't getting it from the 4 spot. And so the most exciting event of the offseason, probably most exciting event for the Spurs post finals ending, I think, probably, is the signing of new Spur Tobias Harris. He's going to be on a 2-year deal, $31 million. There was kind of some rumblings about Rui Hachimura,
mhm,
but he got a 4-year deal, and I don't know. I think clearly the 2-year deal makes the most sense for
yeah.
this team. It makes sense money wise, but we can talk more about that. But just first off, I guess what are your thoughts on Tobias Harris signing? How do you think he fits? Does it address some of these concerns that showed up in the finals?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about it, and I feel like the like our front office targeting people for a 2-year situation versus
Yeah,
a longer term situation is a really great play because I think that we are. I mean, we kind of surprise ourselves that we're in sort of a win now situation,
yeah,
but also we're very aware of our young core and the potential we have together, and I think that if we can get someone who fills a gap that we really need, who also has that veteran perspective and experience winning and playing with other great players, like I think that's great. And I think that's great to have and not, bank the next 4 years on, but continue to try and bring in these players that like can add to the development and the
yeah,
greater thing that we're building, around all the young guys.
yeah. The 2-year deal. Okay. We'll start with the basketball fit. I think it
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense. To spur, if you this was an insane offseason, like an absolutely probably one of the craziest off seasons I remember. I think for the first time ever, and well, not ever, the first time in a very long time that I can remember, the East, I would say, is pretty solidly better than the West. I think there are
Mm,
far more teams that are going to be competitive in the East than there
yeah.
are in the West. The floors kind of dropped out on the West, and teams are interesting, but not. I mean, there's OKC, Spurs, and what do you say, Timberwolves next if that fit goes poorly. Anyways, I'm
That's
going
true.
on a tangent. All that to say, a lot of teams change their dynamics a lot,
Hmm.
including the Knicks. But the Spurs, we've stayed the same, and we
Hmm.
added a piece to a rotation in a spot that we needed. And Tobias
Hmm.
Harris, he is a solid 3-point shooter. He can be good. I think last season he was about 38%. He's had seasons where he's
Hmm.
over 40. I think he's a career like 39,
Yeah.
better than Keldon Johnson. Like that shooting will help. And he is a consistent mid range threat. He is a big
Hmm.
body who can influence offensive schemes from the dunker spot, from the wing,
Hmm.
and he makes a lot of sense. Now, on the 2-year deal side, that is the thing that I am the happiest about. The first thing is kind of a concern, but less of a concern because of the contract. Tobias Harris is 34 years old. He could turn into a pumpkin 2 months into the season.
Hmm.
Like we don't know what kind of production we're gonna get when
Yeah.
you're that old, and I don't think he will. He had a good year with a good team. He
Hmm.
was not. I don't. We can talk about the elimination games, but I don't think he was the issue with what went on with the Pistons. That was Jalen Duren. And that's
Yeah.
proved by his negotiations right now. But then also the money, like the 2 years on the money. we're going to have some decisions that are going to have to be made with
Mm-hmm.
Castle and Harper's rookie scale extensions. And
Mm-hmm.
this gives us a bridge. This fills a need, an immediate need, keeps the same team. I would say makes us even more competitive than we were
Mm-hmm.
last year, barring some unexpected dropout from any other member of the team. And I think it fits financially. If you think about it, the Spurs, I would credit a lot of the initial success of the team early on in the season to Harrison Barnes. Like Mr. 100% also existed for like 30 games. He turned into a pumpkin. But like Tobias Harris fills a little bit of that spot. We can talk more about the rotation there, but I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
high on this. I'm excited to see how it goes.
I was thinking about that like Harrison Barnes esque, comparison because people forget how important he was to like the first quarter of the season and
Yeah.
like, the Sean Elliott, Mr. 100%, like
Yeah.
that's who he was. And he had flashes of that too. And I think also like one thing that was a little disappointing is that we have such a strong young core, but it felt like as we went on through the playoffs, our rotation just got tighter and tighter. And that was
Yeah.
also something that was kind of hurting us. I think Tobias Harris will alleviate some of that. And I think that's great. We want to be able to have people that can alleviate those starters, like we were saying, and how that can put
Yeah.
stress on the center piece of our defense or offense and makes them both perform worse. So,
Yeah. I think, you know, the influences I saw on Instagram, like, or Twitter today or yesterday, Wemby, Tobias Harris, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes,
that's
30 minutes west of me and Katie right now, working out Fox's gym. So I'm excited. The fit, I think, is kind of proven because, like you're
Mhm.
saying, when Barnes plays well, and when KJ plays well, like,
Mhm.
I mean, that's the benefit of having a potential greatest of all time player on your
Mhm.
team is that the two man lineups, when the other man is playing well, the two man stats like look
Mhm.
incredible.
Yeah.
And so if you have a strong shooting stretch wing, um,
Mhm.
who can be a 3 level scorer, more mid range and 3 pointer than I would say, like getting to the basket, if they play well, fantastic. Like that's the spacing you need because
Yeah.
even on his worst nights, Victor's going to draw two if he's near the
Yeah.
basket every time.
Totally. I completely agree.
Yeah, I think so. This is a good transition into our next
Mhm.
topic, but the
Definitely.
concern with the Tobias Harris signing is a minute squeeze. So Spurs signed Tobias Harris. They have Carter Bryant, who I'm very high on. I'm hoping we develop. I love Carter. I think he just gets a tiny bit more offense. He's going to be super playable. KJ,
Mhm.
sixth man of the year, Mr. San Antonio. Champagny in
Yeah.
some lineups, our 3 point shooter just extended him on a new
Just
deal.
got
And
his
then Harrison
extension.
Barnes, who started for a good chunk of the season. So that like 3-4 spot, that forward wing rotation is
Mhm.
absolutely packed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting. I think that one of the defining moments of the Spurs' success, I think I already said that. That's why I'm saying one of the defining moments,
Mhm.
um, was Mitch Johnson deciding to take Harrison Barnes off of the bench and starting Julian Champagny instead.
Mhm.
And it's pretty awesome that Harrison Barnes is a professional and was willing to do that when he started every game for like a billion years. Um,
Mhm.
but those conversations are going to happen a lot more now
Yeah.
that the rotation looks like it is right now. If we want to play guard heavy lineups, things are going to change. Things are going to
Mhm.
change. We'll see.
Totally. And I think with someone like Keldon Johnson, that's where I think the conversation gets so tricky and like also like just being honest, like more there's a lot of emotion that plays into that more than just the stats because like you said, he is Mr. San Antonio. There's
Yeah,
that really famous, interview of him from like 6 years ago, and he's like, I know we're bad now, but I
we're
promise
gonna
you we're
start
not gonna
winning.
always yeah, exactly. And it's like it's those are the things and he's been with this era of the Spurs,
Yeah,
he's been there the whole way. And it's really hard. to look at that. And also, he's coming off, like you said, the sixth man of the year. And then also, look at his playoff performance. And I
Yeah.
think that, he looked like a shell of himself. I think
Yep.
he looked a little scared and a little
Yep.
hesitant. I think there was some early bad shooting nights, and that like kind of scared him off into trying to put his head down and drive to the basket. But
Yeah.
in the playoffs, when the game gets inevitably more physical, it wasn't as, productive as it was in the regular season. And oddly enough, I think he had a good plus minus in the finals, but that was more
Oh,
based on
really?
like rotation and not
Yeah.
necessarily like what his production was, like just
Yeah.
who he was playing with, which I think a lot of times was Dylan Harper, and
Yeah. Yeah.
which we can talk about,
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
the Keldon Johnson situation is tough because it's also, like we said, he's such a like a leader and a voice of this team,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how that affects him or the team as you're looking at, some rumors start to pop up or some guys get signed that, are going to crunch your minutes, or, the team start to slowly move in a different direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking up as you're talking. I'm trying to find his 3-point percentage last season. I know he's a
Hmm.
career 35. Whatever.
Hmm.
Not super important, but all of that to say, like we mentioned with this lineup, like Tobias Harris can shoot the three. That's kind of one of the reasons why he was brought in. Carter Bryant, they're hoping to develop into, we saw glimpses of it. Form looks
Hmm.
great. Trying to develop into 3-point shooter. Julian Champagnie is our 3-point shooter. Harrison Barnes at one point was Mr. 100%. Still probably the
Hmm.
largest part of his offensive game. And
Hmm.
like, you hate to like fall back on kind of the easy cop out for Keldon, especially because
Hmm.
he's had to change his game a lot. But
Hmm.
when that 3-point shot is not there and things slow down, like you're saying in the playoffs, defenses constrict a little bit,
Hmm.
especially with Vic on the floor. It's hard for you to just put your head down. And I love Keldon Johnson.
Yeah.
I have his jersey. If he ever leaves this team, I will be absolutely devastated. But there were so many moments especially in the finals, or where he would get the ball at the wing, or it would
Hmm.
be a 2-on-3, and you're like, this is a turnover. This is going to be
Yeah.
a
It's
turnover. I
it's
know
a
he's putting his head down and he's driving to the basket. And when you have those kind of concerns with the current cap environment and what the books are going to look like in the future, it makes sense. So he did not get his extension. We have not extended him yet.
Hmm.
Um, and it's kind of, with the way the CBA works, it's a little bit tougher for us to offer a team friendly deal.
Yeah.
Negotiating this is a little bit more complicated, other than just like, I love San Antonio, okay, take less
Hmm.
money. Like there's a lot of stipulations in that. But
Yeah.
there's like, tying back to this rotation squeeze, there's going to be a lot of fighting for important minutes. And I think that, I mean, Champagnie's going to find time.
Hmm.
Tobias Harris wouldn't be will probably, I don't know. I don't want to get into starting lineups yet. We're too far away. But the minutes are the only person I see KJ most definitely beating out for minutes is Harrison Barnes. I
Yeah.
think HB is fine with a veteran leadership role, but
Hmm.
like, I think it's absolutely essential to get Carter Bryant more high leverage minutes. This is going to be a really interesting season for KJ.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that, I don't know if you saw, he wrote like a piece in the Players Tribune like early in the season, um, which
Hmm.
it was great. It was awesome, and it was just about kind of his early years in San Antonio,
Hmm.
and the conversations he would have with Pop about how his playing style has to evolve,
Hmm.
what it means to go from being the best player on a team to someone who really needs to make major improvements, and how that
Hmm.
mess with his mind a little bit. So he's dealt with that kind of stuff, and I'm never going to pretend to like know, I say I have insight into a player's emotions,
Hmm.
but he's just a player I think will be especially important to keep an eye on. And I know he got a
Yeah.
lot of backlash. I don't think it's time to like cut ties, but
I completely
it's
agree.
just, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not ready to cut ties with him at all.
Mm-mm.
But I understand the conversations being had, but like it like as a Spurs fan, I would it would break me to see him walk
Absolutely.
away.
Oh
And,
my God. Yeah, that
imagine
would
him
be
in any
brutal.
other jersey.
Oh
That
my
would be
God.
horrible.
Yeah, that would be heartbreaking. And I do think, like, as much as we want to prioritize winning and prioritize basketball fit, like, it is very, and I think the Spurs organization understands this probably a lot more than any other organization, not any other
Hmm.
organization, but many organizations, is
Hmm.
like the locker room dynamics and the culture of a team are absolutely important, especially once you get to the level of contention,
Hmm.
contending, not contention, contending, where it's those tiny little details that can push you over the edge,
Yeah.
to winning when the NBA is so incredibly good on any given night. Like, it's it's not just something to be like, oh, I love him as a Spur, like I want him to stay as a Spur. I think the front office knows and values how much of a vocal leader he is in the locker room.
Hmm.
I wonder if that starts to rub off on, maybe not even Vic. He doesn't seem very vocal at times, but like on someone else, and someone else takes that role.
Hmm.
Definitely not going to be Stefan Castle. It's like the
Yeah.
quietest superstar I've ever
Too
seen.
nonchalant, bro.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. But speaking of players that we're not ready to cut ties with, probably the biggest talking point, from NBA and Spurs casuals is the importance of shipping off De'Aaron Fox to a foreign country, putting him in a labor camp, making him work with the Lithuanian coach for 2 years before coming back. He ruined this team. We'll never make the finals again. Um, De'Aaron Fox had an all-star season, we should say. He was an
Yes.
NBA all-star despite being picked last, out of the 10 kids to play pickup basketball. Um, he had a good season for a lot of the season,
Hmm.
but he struggled in the playoffs. And so I'll set the table by saying his money's kicking in. He's got
Hmm.
4 years on his deal. It's going to be between $49 and $55 million a year, depending on the year in which we are in the contract. Um, yeah, we'll stop there. Give me your thoughts on Fox in the playoffs, Fox in the regular season. What he means to this team. Are you someone who is pro Fox deportation? What do you think?
I'll start with this. I think that one of the things that irritates me the most is like, and this is definitely coming from the San Antonio Spurs fan inside me that I feel like is very like family oriented and like
Yeah,
homegrown, is like I hate when like franchise's fan base is like hating and targeting one of the franchise players. And like I
yeah.
think that's it's like so unhelpful in so many ways, like because
Got to get off Twitter,
we're in
man.
an
Got to
era
get
where
off
like
Twitter.
you can tweet something really funny and mean about De'Aaron Fox, and like
Yeah.
they will all see it.
Yeah.
Like Fox will
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Like the team will see it. Like they like have group chats and are
We're seeing the
online.
reposts on TikTok.
It's like, yeah, bro, Dylan Harper. We're seeing that. We're seeing the reposts. Like there are like open comment sections like on Darren Fox's wife page that are just like
Oh
so
God.
horribly. And again,
Yeah.
I have to believe a lot of them are just like casual fans or just like
Yeah.
NBA fans or like people who just hate the Knicks and are upset that they won. But like I'll start there that like I really don't like that, and I hate
Yeah.
how that, because that definitely affects a player and it affects
Completely
a
agree.
locker room. And like you want, especially when it's someone like Fox who the Spurs are showing everyone. They're showing the team and they're showing
Yeah.
like the general public that they're bought into him. It's like like that shows a weakness or like some sort of something to doubt in someone that you're supposed to buy into. And
Yeah.
like within a
Yeah.
team, I think that's not a good thing. I will say it is a massive contract. And
Yeah.
that is
It
like
is.
that is a that's a bummer, but that's also a reality of
Yeah.
having,
A Rich Paul client
a Rich
join your
Paul
team in
client.
a team
Exactly.
friendly trade. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a team friendly trade. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. And so I think I think another thing to remember is that a lot of the playoff, I don't know what you want to call it, a lot of the drop off happened after a high ankle sprain
Yes.
that he did
Yes.
play on to
Yep.
try and, make it work. And Fox is someone who his whole game relies on his explosiveness. And like
Yep.
that's how he creates shots. And if
Yep.
he's not as explosive, then his shots are worse. And as a smaller player in this league, you know, in the finals, he's going to get, if he's not getting to his spots, it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
I think that he's definitely hearing all the noise right now, and the team
Totally.
is definitely hearing all the noise. And I would assume that they're rallying around him. I mean, going to work out at it in his home, like Wemby and Tobias Harris and Harrison
Yeah.
Barnes, like that's awesome. I love seeing
Yeah.
that, and that
Totally.
almost feels like it's like we're not being shy about how much we still believe in this player as a
Yeah.
part of our franchise.
Yeah.
Um, I do think this season will be very important for him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And for us too. I'm not. I think there's so many people saying that Dylan Harper should be starting over Fox, and while I'm like probably the highest you can be on Dylan
Yes.
Harper,
Absolutely.
I
Yep. Me
just think
too.
like even if you wanted to trade Fox, you need to play him
Yeah.
more to get his
Yep.
trade
Exactly.
value up. Like
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
crazy. And like, Dylan Harper's in his second year, his dad was a very successful NBA player. Like he
Yeah.
knows the course and trajectory of, buying into a system and building something special and the
Yeah.
sacrifices that takes.
Yep.
So I'm not worried in that sense. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking for De'Aaron Fox to come out with a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And, no matter in any, I've like one thing I've noticed about him throughout the season is that he's very confident. And when he plays poorly, that like rubs people the wrong way. But then when he hits a game winner in game 3 of the finals, it's like people are like, forget that they hated him, the
Yep.
past 3 weeks. And so
Yep.
I'm still pro De'Aaron Fox,
Yes.
pro not
Okay.
shipping him
Okay.
away. And I,
Okay.
I still believe in him.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that the best thing we can do is start him and put him in a position to succeed. And like if there are more problems, we'll get to that. If a player
Yep.
develops way past him, we'll get to that. But like right now, like I want as like a fan and also just someone that like, feels for this guy who's getting way too much slack. Like I want him to be in a position to like show us what he's capable of. And I do think there's still like that Sacramento
Yeah.
Fox there.
Yeah. I completely agree with everything you said. Like, I think, well, one, in terms of like the discourse towards a player, like, yeah, man, if, okay, maybe we're like not a good example because we're spending our time making a Spurs podcast. But
Hmm.
if you think the best use of your time is like jumping on Twitter and just like hate commenting about like this guy who you like watch play basketball, it's like, bro,
Yeah.
grow up, man, get a life. That's true. That's true with anything, but like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I will say, listen, okay, I'll preface this by saying I completely agree with you. Fox should be on this team. I want him starting.
Hmm.
I won't pretend. There was that Nuggets game at the end of the season,
Oh, yeah.
and then there was this post high ankle sprain at the
Yeah.
end of my post high ankle sprain where it was really frustrating to watch him play.
Hmm.
Now, I think
Yeah.
you're absolutely right that this tough stretch of games came after the high ankle sprain. And I don't think it was talked about enough. Like if you look at
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox's resume and his credentials, he is a fantastic basketball player. He is a great point guard.
He's
And
a clutch player too.
he's a clutch player. And what I want anybody out there doing, listening or watching to this, is to go look up De'Aaron Fox highlights, like from Sacramento, and then look at his game after that high ankle sprain and tell me that it was anything but an injury. Because
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. He is, when he has all of his explosiveness, nobody can stay in front of him.
Mhm.
He gets to the basket at will. He is bouncy. He's a quick defender, and he didn't have that. And I mean, he had a lot of shots. I remember watching these games, and like the shots are kind of rimming out. I'm not a
Yeah.
basketball coach. I'm not a
Oh,
good basketball player either, but the shots were pretty close. Like
They
this
were.
guy, this guy didn't explode. Like he
Yeah.
was getting to a spot and they weren't quite there. And I just think if you take the bank of evidence of De'Aaron Fox as a player, I am very comfortable writing this off to an injury. Like a
Hmm.
high ankle sprain sucks.
Hmm.
And you're right, it would completely take away his toolkit. And I think it is that. Now, that said, yes, completely agree with this too. Huge contract. And right now, it
Yeah.
is a bad contract. It is an albatross on the
Hmm.
books, especially like you already. This is a whole nother. Maybe we can do a special episode sometime about the CBA. I think it's fascinating, like the arguments on both
Yeah.
sides as to whether it's a good thing or bad thing that Vic took a little less money.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think there's valid arguments to both sides, but
Hmm.
already the first player getting an extension, a max extension, is taking a cut. Um, he that's kind of, I would say, setting the stage for some expectations for
Hopefully.
how Harper, how Castle are going to approach their rookie deals. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. All that to say, like, it's a lot of money.
Hmm.
And you're right, he's not tradable right now. This contract is not tradable. And how you judge a contract in the NBA, if it is a good or bad contract, is this contract tradable? When you
Hmm.
sign the contract, and there were questions about the contract at the beginning when we first signed it over the summer after we
Hmm.
traded him, um,
Hmm.
and we do have the luxury of, like, let's say absolute worst case scenario ever of all time, like De'Aaron Fox refuses to play and we have to pay him until he becomes a free agent. Like,
Hmm.
we're still pretty damn good because we have solid guards and exciting prospects. That's not
Hmm.
going to happen. But what I am saying is that you're right, he needs to rehab his trade value. And
Hmm.
I don't think that that's the only reason why he should start, just so we get a better value when we want to trade him. And I will say, De'Aaron Fox is going to be traded. Maybe not this season, but I am feel comfortable saying very confidently that this contract will not play out in San Antonio. It just gets too complicated with the money. I think everybody in the front office realizes that.
Hmm.
But Dylan Harper is incredible, and I won't talk too much about him yet because we can talk about him next. But but
Let's
De'Aaron
go.
Fox still is a more composed and mature point guard. He understands the flow of the
Hmm.
offense, and I'm confident that he's going to have a good season. Now,
Hmm.
if he doesn't, salary dump trades. I don't know. We don't even need to get into all that, but they get kind of ugly the way the CBA is set up now.
Yeah.
But De'Aaron Fox will be traded, but he's not going to be traded because he had a bad run of games after he had a pretty legit injury. He's going to be traded because of the reality of his contract, and he's
Hmm.
not going to be traded until he gets more playing time and more opportunity to show that he's still a legitimate all-star. I think that's totally going to be the case.
I completely agree. And I think it's also it's easy to forget how he got here. And that was he like kind of sought us out.
Yeah.
And that is a really cool thing for like an all-star caliber player
Yep.
to go out there and seek out a deal. And like, he came here immediately, got surgery, got things done because he wanted to come
Yep.
here and really give it his all and try and win here. And I
Yeah.
think that's important to remember, that like he got that extension because he was very bought in to being here and trying to make things work. And so
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he will probably get traded, and
Yeah.
that will happen as Castle and Harper develop and grow into the players and contracts that they're obviously going to become. And I agree. It won't be because of a bad, finals appearance. It'll be because of
Yeah.
that. And that's something
Yeah.
that I think anybody can understand and be okay with.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, in connection to our starting point guard, De'Aaron Fox, our backup point guard,
Hmm.
Mr. Dylan Harper, there's some news. I don't know if it's really news, but reporting. I think that came out of the Athletic, saying that Dylan Harper is happy to play off the bench some more after there was a little, I don't know, kerfluffle, I don't know, ruffled feathers of
Yeah.
him saying, Devin Vassell saying he wasn't happy with his minutes, some reporting saying he wanted to have more starting time.
Hmm.
Great. I'm glad you're ready to come off the bench. You would have had to anyways. So, but happy that you're okay with it, and happy that you told some reporter that you're okay with it. But Dylan Harper, man, like, wow. I think you
Crazy.
ask anyone who is like even a little bit more. I mean, any Spurs fan knows Dylan Harper is incredible. But
Mhm.
you ask anyone who consistently watches the NBA, and there's not going to be a single person who isn't going to say Dylan Harper is going to be a superstar. He is
Totally.
phenomenal. And I'm happy with the succession plan. I think he is in a great spot. So I know
Mhm.
you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah.
If you want to do a little love letter to
I
Dylan
think
Harper,
it's funny.
go for it.
I remember before the playoffs started. I swear to God, this isn't some LeBron. I called this, but I was talking to Max. You can ask him, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh shoot. Oh yeah, there you are. I was talking to
Okay.
Max, and I was like, I'm calling this right now. Like Dylan Harper is going to be the difference maker this playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm putting everything on it. And like
Yeah.
because up until then, he had he had great games for sure
Yeah.
and great highlights too. But I don't think he really impacted like winning for us until the playoffs started, and especially when Wemby goes down
Yeah.
and in the first round, and all of a sudden everything is on its head. Okay, are we
Yep.
about to get bounced out of the first round by the freaking Trailblazers? And Dylan Harper comes in and picks a fight with Scoot, and
Yep.
it was just like from that moment on, like I feel like everybody in the NBA kind of fell in love with him.
Yeah.
He was just so confident
Yep.
and had, I think, the highest percentage. There was a stat at one point he had the highest field goal percentage like in the history of the playoffs. Like he was like a very like
Really?
in
I didn't see
one
that.
like from his like playoff run, like highest field goal percentage like inside the paint, like in the
Oh
history of the
yeah. Yeah.
playoffs. Like there was, it was only for like the first 3 weeks, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
data caught up to him, but
Yeah. I mean, Dylan Harper already is incredible and is going to be incredible. But I think what you said ties in well with what we're talking about with Fox is that like Dylan Harper, I mean, he got better and better at this as the season went on, but he stepped into the spotlight and kind of
hmm
became a talking point, like you said, when Vic went out, when he
hmm
got concussed, and when the rotation, honestly, often because of KJ's struggles, when the rotation got
yeah,
kind of thin and we just needed a bucket. Fox was hurt, KJ was struggling, and we're like, we just need someone to like just make a shot. We need
totally,
someone to make a shot, and he's incredible at that. Like he gets to the rim at will. It is
yeah,
absolutely incredible against fantastic wing defenders, against strong rim defenders. He makes his way to the basket and he has incredibly tough finishes. Now, like you're saying, he stood out in moments where it wasn't as much of his responsibility to dictate the flow of the offense. And at the start of the Thunder series, we saw that when Fox was out,
hmm
we won game one, but like, let's be honest, you don't really need to do this because the shot went in, it is what it is, and we won the series. But
hmm
yeah, the Spurs Wemby misses that whatever 80 footer,
yeah.
no, 40 footer from like half court. Game's over. We lost that game. And I think the conversation would be about how, wow, De'Aaron Fox is really essential to the
hmm
way that their offense is set up right now. And
Also,
so I
what a
think
bad
because of
shot from
that,
Wemby.
yeah, and also, yeah, what are you thinking? You're an idiot. Don't take that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think that like it makes sense for him to come off the bench, not only because for so many reasons, but I think that despite him, I think as their careers progress, like as we look back, unless something
Mhm,
bad happens, like Dylan Harper will be looked at as a better player than De'Aaron Fox, but
mhm.
he's not ready to start over De'Aaron Fox. He needs to have a better understanding of the way we want to set up and run our game.
Totally. And he had some massive flubs and like really important moments like in the
Yes.
Knicks series too. Like
Yes.
he kind of got us back in there, and then he I don't know if you remember in like I think it was game 5 where he like missed a very open layup. Or no, it was game 4. It was when they were making the
Okay.
comeback. And he missed like a, a wide
Yep.
open
Yep.
layup,
Yep.
and it was kind of like everybody he thought he was going to be the hero
Yep.
again, and it's like, these are things that happen. But I do like your point that like he has done a really good job at shining like from his current position, and like where he's not bearing all the responsibility, but instead he comes in and gets to influence the game from like a different role. And I think that is like why he can impact it so well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm excited to see too, like getting to a point where the roster construction allows Stephon Castle to almost exclusively play the two.
Hmm.
Um, we some of the turnover woes, like they were scary for a while. There were some historic stats thrown around with
Dude.
what was going on. I mean, the most I'll always remember. I was in the building for when threw it off, or I guess that wasn't his turnover, but where you place the blame is up to you. But that game, end of game 2 in the finals, turnover. Looking back, deciding not to
Yeah.
look like I don't know. We don't need to discuss that. But when he can solidly play the two
Hmm.
because um, Harper is ready to just play a starting role and not kind of be thrown into like a medley of like a guard heavy lineup, which worked, but I don't know.
Hmm.
It's coming. It's not quite time yet.
Yeah, it's just something to be super excited about right now, and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
try and let too much outside chatter influence
Yes.
or get in the way of, or any drama get in between, because it's I think the the team, like the actual players, understand it a lot better than anybody else who's trying to butt in and say Harper needs to demand a trade and go start somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? You want to do kind of a state of the West discussion? You want to save it for another time? What do you think?
Up to you, man. I think this has gone like I feel like well.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we can do it fast. We can do just
Mhm,
kind of like this will be less in depth because it's not Spurs
mhm.
centric. But just kind of thinking ahead to the West, like I mentioned, I think if I am like a Conference centric basketball watcher. Like I
Definitely.
often rarely. I rarely watch the Eastern Conference. That's probably going to change this year,
Mhm.
especially I think LeBron's going to Miami. But
Yeah, we gotta
yeah,
talk about
we'll hit
that.
on that. But looking at the West, I kind of broke down what I was thinking in terms of tiers. I mean,
Hmm.
like I referenced this earlier, but the Spurs and Thunder, I think people like kind of are pretty quick. I think we're fantastic, and I'm a
Hmm.
fanatical Spurs fan.
Yeah,
People were pretty quick to crown them kings of the West when OKC didn't have their full team when we played them, but
yeah,
Thunder are going to be just as competitive, if not even better. Spurs are
yeah.
going to be better.
Hmm.
Timberwolves, that's interesting. I'm
Hmm.
kind of excited about this fit. I love Nas Reed, so I'm sad I won't get to see him on that team. But um, I don't know. We'll see how that works. So I would say that first band is like Spurs, T Wolves, Thunder. T Wolves is
Yeah.
maybe they're like a B, but I didn't want to get too specific. I don't know. What would you add anyone else in
Do
there?
you think the Nuggets belong up there?
No, not right. No, not
Because
right now. I think the Nuggets have some questions to answer. I think that there's kind of like a hangover from winning a championship,
yeah.
and you forget that the league evolves a lot around you. And I
Hmm.
mean, it's obviously not at all the same team.
Hmm.
I had the Nuggets very solidly in the second band, which I'm calling nipping at the heels,
Hmm.
because I think it's pretty close. Jokic is one of the 3 to 5 best players in the world, depending on like who's healthy. Sometimes he's
Hmm.
by far the best player in the world, and you can't count that out. Like maybe, but I don't
Yeah.
think as solidly as the. And I just have to give the nod to the Wolves. I mean,
Yeah.
They won.
Walked him down
They
last
won.
last.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have any. If it's close, I have no real reason to give the nod to the
Yeah,
Timberwolves.
I
So
think.
yeah, right. I said that next band. I
Mhm.
have Rockets. I think Fred Van Vliet is going to be super important for them. Surprise,
Mhm.
surprise. They'll look a lot better. I think Nuggets, and then I think the Jazz are going to be pretty good. I think people are going to be surprised at the Jazz, and I would not be surprised if they steal that sixth spot.
I agree, and I've always been super high on Laurie. I can never pronounce his last name.
Dude, okay. First of all, that's my NBA lookalike. That's my NBA lookalike. You know what his
So,
middle name is?
what, Elias?
Elias.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
Laurie Elias Markkinen. Yeah, that's right. Look it
Wow.
up. But yeah,
I've always been super high on him, and I think it's because like 3 years ago there was some rumors where that was going to be our De'Aaron
yeah,
Fox,
yeah,
and then I like really got into the idea of like one of the best shooters in the league that's like 7'1".
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
no, they're looking great. I agree that the
But they
Rockets,
got it's Jaren Jackson, Laurie
yeah,
Markkinen. They've got
um,
yeah Darren Peterson now.
yeah,
Like it's gonna be a fun team.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch. I think the Rockets will always be like doomed to just like exciting enough to get disappointed when you
Hell yeah,
when you're watching them. But
yeah.
no offense to your state of residency.
No,
But
no, yeah. I don't take any.
where do you have the Warriors? Is my question.
I think that the Warriors, honestly, I think if the LeBron thing doesn't work out for the Warriors,
Mm,
they could bottom out pretty quickly. Like
yeah.
Kristaps, Steph, maybe Draymond. Draymond is still sitting in purgatory at the time of this recording without an understanding of what his contract's going to look like. I mean, he's not going to leave the Warriors.
Yeah.
It'll work out, but I think it's like the evil twin of the Nuggets in the sense of like it's Steph Curry if he still has enough legs under him to play enough games and
Hmm.
produce at a high level. You never know what's going to happen.
Hmm.
But I'm pretty low on the Warriors. I don't see them making a lot of noise, especially with like how good the band is. I had this next like category, the bottom, however many teams like
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of. I'm not very excited. The only team that I think like may will be interesting to watch. Two teams that I'm like interested to watch. Luka's always fun to watch, so that's three. But I'm not counting him.
Hmm.
I'm not excited to watch. I
Yeah.
think the Lakers lineup is an absolute
It's
disaster.
gonna
I don't know
suck.
what
It
the hell they
sucks,
were thinking.
bro.
I love you, Mamu, but like happy you got a big contract. Walker Kessler. What are we talking about? That's a
Bro.
crazy contract. But the Blazers and the Mavs, like the Blazers, Dame and
I was
Ja
gonna
Morant,
say
like
I feel like the like Portland could be a sneaky like bottom of tier
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Like I wouldn't be surprised if we play them again in the playoffs, assuming we are
yeah,
a
yeah.
high seed and they are a low seed.
I could
But
totally see that. I could totally see them making it out of the play-in tournament. I could see that
mhm,
for sure.
yeah.
And then the Mavs, like Cooper Flag is going to be really good. Um,
Mhm,
we'll see. We'll see beyond
yeah.
that. But yeah, I don't know. There's kind of like a morass of teams, and then like Kings, Pels, Clips, and Grizzlies. Like, well,
Yeah.
Clippers. I don't know if Kawhi's still going to be on that team or not. Uh,
Oh yeah. That
he's
affects
he's
Toronto,
still
the
like
East a lot more.
yeah. If he ends up in Toronto once again, East is looking
Hmm.
good, but I don't know. Like I think we kind of talked through it, but like doesn't there's not as the West is not as much of a bloodbath I think anymore.
Hmm.
Um, it's like a two-man race. It's two teams West to lose. It's the Thunder and Spurs West to lose now.
Hmm.
Um, things come up during the season. I don't no one really no one I'm going to say confidently no one expected the Spurs to like be the other fighter in the ring in
Hmm.
the Western Conference Finals. I don't maybe like Kendrick Perkins did like when they were trying to clickbait people in the summer before, but like
He
no one
flipped
expected
like
that. So you
five
never know.
different times in one playoff run. It was crazy.
Yeah. And then I'll just throw out I mentioned it quickly. The two quick hitters. First one is Lou Dort trade. My
Yeah.
quick thoughts on that are I'm so happy I don't have to see Lou Dort defending a Spur, at least in a
Hmm.
Thunder uniform anymore. Hawks are frisky. East is crazy, but I'm so happy I don't have to see that on the Thunder. Lou Dort haram ball, torture ball, like get away from the Western Conference. That's great. But I think the interesting thing is he's a victim of, like we've been mentioning, of the CBA, of the salary cap,
Mhm.
by trading away Dort, Wiggins, and Isaiah Hartenstein, taking a team friendly deal. Like the Thunder ended up saving close to 300 million in salaries and tax
Scary.
avoidance.
Yeah.
Um, and that's gonna be the type of equations that the Spurs are gonna have. And like I hate to
Mhm.
say it, but the Thunder are probably even in a better situation because they have even more draft capital associated like with this flexibility.
Yeah.
They've been able to save a bunch of money and still make space for Jalen Williams, Shea, and then like they happen to pick up Jared McCain. Like,
He's gonna be a
the,
starter. I
yeah,
saw rumors he's gonna be a starter. I think the biggest, and this is just like pure bias, the like biggest like blemish on that, stack is Chet's contract, in my opinion. I think when you're combining
yeah, I hate that
like, bro,
guy.
for two shots in an elimination game, bro.
Yeah.
Never mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I'm not. Yeah. We'll see what happens, but I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm not totally out on Chet either. But I
I'm
do
not. I'm not.
kind
I'm
of like that
genuinely.
too.
It's probably like 60% of a joke, but like I mean, he's a great player and
Yeah.
he's a part of their team. But like, it's just hilarious that our teams match up in a way that like there's just one 7 footer who's just a lot better than their seven
Yeah.
footer, and
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
like that impacts like the overall matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Okay.
But
Last quick hitter. Where's LeBron going? Where do you want him to go? Where do you think he's going to go? Do you care?
I I'm a LeBron fan, I will say,
Okay. Good. Good.
and I think he's going to. I mean, that leaked YouTube video
Yeah.
for
Yeah. That's
the
true. How much
Heat.
stock are you putting in that? Yeah.
I think that's pretty. That says but I saw that LeBron apparently had his mind made up and now wanted to start over from scratch. Like I
Oh.
saw, but again, I'm seeing all these things.
Who's LeBron's medium? What
That's it. I
truth
like it
sayer
was
is
someone
saying?
saying they heard that from Rich Paul or something
Okay,
like that. But
okay,
like I think it was Shams reporting Rich Paul apparently. I don't know.
okay.
I think Miami.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's Miami or the Warriors, and I'm thinking
yeah,
about like as a family, like he's trying to stay near his family, and he's getting ready to retire, and those are the two places that make the most sense for that.
yeah. I agree with you on Miami. I don't think the Warriors is going to happen. I did earlier on, but I think it'll be 76ers or Miami. I think like you're not in on the 76ers. You're not
I
liking that.
be so sad. I don't know what kind of devil magic they're using to make that one of the options. That's a waste, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think so. No matter where he's going, he's signing a minimum. So I think like the financial questions are less of a question than like just the basketball fit. I think like LeBron is going to want to have the ball in his hands. He's not going to be a third option. I don't think. Um,
That's why I didn't want him on the Spurs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No. From the moment like this, there's Spurs rumblings. It's because realistically, like if the Spurs, if the Spurs win a ring next year and LeBron was on that team, that was LeBron's ring and not the Spurs ring. So
Yeah.
you can quote me here right now that I will be like actively disappointed and mad if LeBron like throws a Hail Mary and ends up in San Antonio. I don't want that to happen. I want him to go to Miami. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I loved watching LeBron just because of like the era in which I became a big basketball fan. I
Hmm.
remember LeBron on Miami. That was so much fun. It
I
was
hated
scary.
that.
I hated it for 1 year and then loved it the next year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it'll be one of those two teams, the 76ers or Heat.
Mm.
And I think I have no idea when we'll know. It's got to be soon.
It's
It's
got to
got to
be
be soon.
soon. I
It's
think
like at
like
this
for the NBA, like it has to be. I think it's gonna be
Will we know the result of the Kawhi investigation or LeBron's next team first?
LeBron first.
I
I
think
think
you're right.
they've taken so long with this
I think
Kawhi
you're right.
investigation. I
I
think
think
that's
you're
gonna
right.
turn out poorly for him too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like vacationing in Europe. He's like grew out his hair. It's like
Do you see the AI like marketing materials they were creating for Groot
Yeah,
Kawhi, yeah, it's bad. It's
it's
bad.
bad. It's not looking good for him.
Yeah, wish former Spurs all the best. But.
Come
All
back.
right, well, that was fun. I feel like we covered a lot. We're just under the hour mark.
Look at
First
us.
Spurs Journal podcast. Hope y'all like it. If y'all is out there, if there's anybody listening to this, and even if there's not, I don't care. That was fun.
Let's go.
See y'all next time.
Like, comment, subscribe,
Yeah, that's
follow.
right.
Peace.
Okay. Peace. Okay, that's my cut. Right in an hour. Perfect.
That was crazy. That's probably exactly an hour.
Yeah, I think we stopped right at it. That was fun.
Dude,
That was. I mean, it was kind of remarkably easy. It's
I was
not
gonna
like
say it was like very. It was like just
Yeah.
normal conversation.
Yeah. Cool. I'm like now I'm like I hope that because we didn't do it in chunks. Like I'm hopeful that it all saves and renders and whatever the hell.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it should, but
I think
if it
so.
like if it at this point if it like it's like you have to pay me $5 a month, like it paywalls me because I went over an hour. I'm like, here you go.
There you
Here's
go.
$5. You got me.
Yeah, I think that was pretty. It felt pretty natural.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think
I
so
feel like
too.
there's like
Let
like
me
if
see if I
anything, it's like